Hey there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. I'm your host, Patsun, and today we're gonna be taking a look at r/divorce, where OP got married to a toxic, gaslighting cheater. Let's begin. My wife asked for a divorce yesterday, posted by Reddit user Lion of Hearts.
This is going to be a long one, so sorry for any language mistakes and possible chaotic structure. My wife and I have been together for almost 10 years. She is 7 years younger than me and currently going through CPTSD therapy to find out if she has quiet BPD, as there is an enormous amount of overlap in the symptoms, but the diagnosis has come up. NPD and bipolar also run in her family. Throughout the years we have had a very loving, close relationship except when we fought. When we first got together, it actually happened after a fight, which I now recognize as a BPD enmeshment abandonment issue. She allowed me to get too close, after which she freaked out, wrote me a lengthy letter about staying friends, and then went out and kissed a guy and told me about that. I went no contact because she was indicating she was not interested, and then she contacted me a few weeks later and wanted to have sex with me when she was drunk. I said no, but a few days later she admitted she was falling in love with me, and we decided to give it a shot. Since she discarded me yesterday for the second time, I have been thinking about the past years we had together and trying to make sense of them. Her discarding me happened in the middle of her trauma therapy. She suddenly is in love with her boss, a man that she has known for 2 years. She is suddenly bisexual and always has been, and she suddenly does not want to continue our relationship because she wants to be free and have new experiences. This entire time she has made being a gold star lesbian her personality. None of these things existed until a few months ago when she first told me she wanted to divorce. Before that, she asked me to marry her, buy a house with her, and even sign up for a fertility clinic to find a sperm donor to have a child. All these things happened in the last 2 years. These were all plans she proposed, and now she is claiming that she only wanted those things to make people around her happy, that these were not her choices. Last week she was telling me she loved me and we were planning a trip to NYC, and that her boss was nothing to be worried about and that I should work on my insecurities. This week, she was telling me how she has loved her boss for a while and even imagined I was him while we were having sex, and that she spent entire night fantasizing about him while lying next to me in bed, which made me feel gross and violated. Speaking of, our sex life was great, but she always wanted more kinky stuff to be done to her. I was new to BDSM, and by nature, I am not very dominant, so I had to learn all sorts of tricks to be able to get her off. And through the years she would keep demanding for more rough sex, claiming it is the only thing that works. It turned into a performance where I had to basically put on a show for her to feel anything, and it got exhausting. At some point, when I wasn't feeling up for performing BDSM every night, I suggested having normal loving sex, but she was unable to get off on that. Then there were times when I would say no to having sex and she would get so angry, saying that Don T, I love her and you never want to have sex with me. The amount of times I cried myself to sleep after saying no to her and she made me feel awful was every few months on the regular. When we did have sex, she just lies there not communicating and wants stuff to be done to her without giving any instructions, but she does want them to be done in a specific manner. Basically, she wanted me to read her mind. When I want to get off, she never puts time or effort into it, even though I have repeatedly communicated this to her. It is as if she just wants to be done. I do have to note that she has been a victim of sexual assault from her childhood, and I recently found out that when we used to have sex she would relive that, which is common among the victims, but also made me feel gross and violated, as if I was forced into the role of the perpetrator without my consent. In the past few months she has been spiraling daily to the point where I had to sign up for a psychologist myself because I started to gaslight myself into thinking I was the bad guy. I also tried to get away during Christmas and put some space between us. My mother bought a ticket for me to go to my home country and stay with the family. 4 days in and my wife shows up there with no warning as a surprise before my birthday. I was happy to see her, but also pissed because I needed those 2 weeks for just myself and my family to feel any sense of normalcy again. We spent most of the time there arguing because every day she would flip-flop. One day she was loving and kind. Next day she did not want me to even look at her. One day she wanted a future with me. The next day she wanted to be free and explore other people and experiences. The times when she does want me around and is loving, I am mostly taking care of her, and she loves it. She thrives on it. When we used to go to my home country to see my family, she would struggle sharing me with them and say, I want you all to myself, even though I only saw my family once a year. And then there are the constant lies about everything and gaslighting and manipulation. For 2 years she has made me believe I am insane for thinking there was something between her and her boss. She has put this guy so high on a pedestal that he called her when she is deemed unfit to work until March by a government-mandated doctor. And he asked her to go to work, and she did despite of what her healthcare professionals recommended. He can do no wrong. but I am delusional, jealous, and insecure for thinking that their relationship crosses my boundaries. Last time she discarded me in November, she tried to have sex with me the next day, saying it feels natural. I am completely unable to have a normal conversation with her about her lying because she says she lied to herself. So it was not really like she deliberately lied to me. And the decisions she made about our future were only made so she could keep others around her happy, which makes me question everything we ever did or shared together. Anyway, she says that now finally she is finding out who she is and being able to feel emotions, and she needs to be free to explore the world and people in it, as if she is being freed from a cage. She has no contact with her family since end of September and was very suicidal throughout the fall. So everything that has happened since September I have shouldered alone. They don't even know she was suicidal, because she said if I tell them she would leave me. She knew this trauma therapy was going to be hard. So basically she has used me in the past few months as a support because she needed it. I am exhausted and in so much pain. I have given her so much of myself throughout the years and most certainly these past 6 months. I am heartbroken for something that was most of the time so pure and good and loving has been turned into something so twisted that I am questioning our moments together while my entire life is in ashes and there is almost nothing left of me. And the worst thing is that I love her so much. She is my best friend. And she says she loves me too, but she has to find out who she is. She does think we can be in each other's lives, but I am afraid she will just use me time and time again, while she is out there having those other experiences because she doesn't know how to live without me. Have to probably sell our house. No idea where I will be staying. At least I have a good job and good prospects for promotion, so financially I will be okay. Maybe I can even pay the house off alone. I cannot believe that the person who 2 years ago took the vows to marry me has done this to me.
God damn, I am so sorry you're going through this, OP. What she has done, what she is doing is extremely hurtful and selfish. The lying, gaslighting, all of the cruel things that she says are as much as the real her as all of the loving memories that you have. And they reveal that she never established a genuine connection with you. She never cared about you or your well-being. Both the love and the cruelty were for her own benefit. It sounds like a long road to get free from this, but once you have a plan in motion, things will start to look clear. It's really good that you have a therapist and some financial stability. You will have a lot of work to do to mend the damage that she has caused. And now for OP's update.
A few months ago, I made a post in this subreddit about my wife's issues with infidelity. She is suffering from CPTSD and undergoing a really difficult treatment. She will also be checked for quiet BPD after this therapy is done, as there is an overlap with symptoms. The last 6 months have been an absolute hell. She broke contact with her parents end of September and has been severely suicidal since. It has just now gotten better. Anyway, 2 years ago she got a new boss, and from the moment that man walked into our lives, she changed. She had always taken pride in being lesbian through and through, but this man became her sole focus. At first I thought nothing of it, but at some point, I realized that I knew more about this man than I knew about her very best friend. He was married back then, so he was definitely off limits because she doesn't want to be a homewrecker. Last spring, his wife cheated on him and he got a divorce, and my wife's entire life became about his well-being and his divorce and how difficult it was for him, and how horrible that anyone could do that to their long-term partner. At some point I asked if she was in love with him, only to be met with a wave of fury. How dare I suggest something like that? I was the one being insecure and overly jealous and controlling and should work on that, and therapy was what she said. I believed her, because I was so taken aback by her reaction I didn't know what to think. Additional note, she asked me to have a baby with her last February. By July, when we had our first appointment at the clinic for fertility research, he was already divorced, so having a baby with me suddenly wasn't in the plans anymore. Fast forward to many talks about her obsession with him to November. She comes to me and says she is bisexual, which fair enough, I don't really care, but how come this comes out now after we have been together for 7 to 8 years? There was no indication of this before, but she suddenly wants to be free and explore who she is and figure out what it means to be alone, meaning she wants to break up. She broke me that night. She kept saying it has nothing to do with him and this is what she needs, and that she needs to hurt me because she needs to do it. Okay, sure. She was in the middle of a really tough time back then. After that night, she tried to have sex with me. I said no because I needed more than 24 hours to process everything. Anyway, things went kind of back to normal. She agreed to think about what she wanted and make a choice during Christmas break while I was away with my family in my country of origin. My mother had bought me a ticket because funds were tight, but I really needed to get away. Mind you, this entire time we have this push-pull dynamic, where her perception of me would switch on an hourly basis, causing me to almost burn out from sheer exhaustion. So, I go back home thinking she will take time to figure stuff out and try to be alone. 4 days later, she shows up as a surprise for my birthday. At first, I was happy to see her. But then I felt weird because this was supposed to be my time with my family and I had to now take care of what she wanted entire time and cancel the plans I had made with my friends, etc. After the vacation, she says she wants to try with me again. Mind you, she hasn't been working since mid-December as she was put on an official sick leave because she was not in any shape to work, so she hadn't seen her boss for a while. So things are peaky for a while. She started CPTSD therapy and used me as a support. Took care of her, held her hand while she cried, made her food, kept the house clean, did everything for her to be stable and okay. Then last week her boss calls her and asks her to come into work, while there are other people available for the task she was supposed to do and she agreed to it. I was pissed because who asks their employee on an official sick leave to come in? But they have no boundaries between them. So I spend the entire day convincing that this is not normal behavior. She eventually tells him off, kind of. She was like, what you did was not okay, but we are good. I swear this man can do no wrong. The next day she goes out with her colleagues and he calls her again to apologize again, and one of her colleagues remarks that he sure gives her special attention. By the way, this is all what she has told me so far. In the evening we have an argument because I think that their interactions are inappropriate. She disagrees, says I am overly jealous and need to get over it. Nothing to worry about, she says. She is not in love with him, just daddy issues. That did not sit right with me, so I did something I am not proud of and looked in her journal the next day and found out that she is in love with him, and for the first time ever she thinks he is in love with her as well. And she spent entire night fantasizing about him while lying next to me. So I confronted her, and after denying it for a few hours, she admitted it. She is in love with him but doesn't want to. She also loves me and wants us to work it out. I said okay, but then you need to cut him off. She says she can't. Then I asked about fantasizing about him and she fesses up that she sometimes imagined that I was him while we were intimate. That was the straw breaking the camel's back. Then I got the entire story about her wanting to be free again and experience other things and people, but not with him because she would lose her job. And that is the most important thing for her, blah blah. Anyway, turns out for 2 years she lied, manipulated and gaslit me about her feelings towards this man. She future faked so many things and refuses to take responsibility for any of them. She says she didn't lie, but I shouldn't have breached her privacy by reading her journal. And if I do it again, she will break up with me. She says the lies weren't lies because she believed them. She also says that decisions such as wanting to have a baby and buying a house or asking to marry me were made because she wanted to make other people happy, not because she wanted these things herself. Basically, she tainted everything we had built together and ripped it all apart. Yesterday morning, she said she loved me and wanted to work it out with me. Yesterday afternoon, she asked for a divorce. She let her family know last night, so I guess we are doing it. This morning, she said she loves me and made my bed. We sleep in separate bedrooms. She constantly keeps coming to me to have a chat and to discuss things while I am trying to avoid her, and it is very difficult. She says she hopes that we stay friends. I don't think I can do that. At least not yet. I have nowhere else to go and neither does she. She keeps saying she loves me but needs to do this, which I understand, but then leave me alone. So yeah, I guess people who responded to my previous thread, you were right. I should have left back in November. I need to not untangle 8 years of life built together, and it is breaking my heart because despite of all of this, I still love her more than anything. And yes, I am in therapy right now to deal with the trauma these 6 months have caused me. TLDR. Wife is in love with her boss and gaslit me for 2 years before coming clean, but doesn't want to pursue him because it would cost her job, but she does want to be free of me. My life is pure hell at the moment.
Wow, your marriage is so toxic that it's even making me feel ill just reading it. All I heard from her is me, 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 me. It really shows just how much she really loves you. Am I right? Look man, it's going to be hard for a short time. Yes, of course it will. But if you actively work on moving on by doing positive things for yourself, working out and hanging out with good people, you will be able to move on faster than you think. But OP, trust me on this because this is based on personal experience. If you stay alone, drink alcohol, and only think about her, then you will drown, and it will not be a fun place to stay, and it will be incredibly difficult to get out. I highly suggest selling the house and moving somewhere far away, at least for a little while, preferably back to your home country where your friends and family are located, so you can recover from all of the shit she has put you through. Good luck, man. Viewer support is the best way for me to remain independent and continue bringing you these daily videos, which will always be here on my YouTube channel for you to watch absolutely free. So consider clicking that super thanks just below the video title, or you can use my PayPal in the description box down below. Thanks for listening, everyone. If you even somewhat enjoyed today's story, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, and if you really like it, make sure to subscribe to PattSun to never miss a future upload. Stay strong.